Hey, it's Wolfie. I got my to Gen Zers out there and millennials as well. What's critical outfit? Eh? 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 Just kidding. And Guy Haberman for boomers out there. Well, I guess everyone out there because we all watch him. So, anyway, we are here to check out day 9 of training camp, see the perspective of other 49ers content creators out there who saw practice. So we actually get some sort of information out of that. So let's do this. 1 second. Sorry, guys, having a little bit of trouble here. I got dry mouth like a mofo. LSU is better than Auburn. All right, take it. Hey guys, LSU is better than Auburn. Don't take it from me. Take it from my friend here. Hi, how you doing, man? Welcome. All right, let's check this out. Grant Cone. Okay, here we go. Welcome. How are you, man? How are you? I like your name. It's like a bumper sticker, you know? All right. Oh, fantastic, man. Right now, we're about to just go through some 49ers practice, see what Grant Cone has to say, David Lombardi, Larry Krueger. They all they're there, so you get to kind of have perspectives. And they're all different, too, so it's good to cross-examine. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. We got 3 people in here. That's good enough for me. Yeah. People can watch this later. So, all right.
Brandon Ayuk watched while drinking water in the shade. Interpret that as you will. The good. Free safety Jair Brown. He recorded 2 interceptions on passes thrown by Brock Purdy. More on him in a minute.
Whenever he says more on him in a minute, apparently Brock Purdy did bad today. So a lot of 49ers fans know that. But for people who are not 49ers fans, that's pretty much what he's saying.
First, Brown caught an overthrown pass that was tipped by Ricky Pearsall. More on him in a minute, too.
You're not going to tell me that you're going to knock Brock Purdy for a tipped pass.
2. Then Brown covered Deebo Samuel man-to-man, jumped his route, and stepped right in front of Purdy's pass over the middle. Interception number 2. Brown might be the training camp MVP.
Yeah, it's lagging. Sometimes it catches up over time. StreamYard's kind of weird like that. I don't have a hard wire into my laptop right now. I will at some point. But as of right now, just give it like maybe 10, 15 seconds as I start it. It'll get back together. Low quality right now, but as we go up in life, man, and in this channel together, better quality. Together. All right. All right. Grant Cone talking shit about Brock Purdy. Let's go.
He's a freaking stud. Defensive tackle Jordan Elliott. He recorded at least 3 sacks and lots of pressures today. He was by far the most disruptive defensive tackle on the field, and that's no knock on Javon Hargrave or Malik Collins. They were good today as well. Elliott simply is bigger and more imposing. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel.
Good year.
He had his best day of training camp. First, he burned Diamador Lenore with the fade route up the sideline to catch a 40-yard pass from Brock Purdy. No big deal.
Hey, and they say he can't throw deep. Deebo is a lot thinner this year, so he's supposed to be a lot better. Hopefully he's a lot better at his route running. He will never be good as Ayuk. But if he gets better at his route running, that'd be a big deal.
In addition, Samuel repeatedly ran for big gains on end arounds and swing routes. He still isn't the best route runner. He couldn't beat the starting free safety one-on-one today, but he seems faster than he has been in years. He's going to have an excellent season. Wide receiver Trent Taylor. He beat both Isaac Yao.
2 days in a row, Trent Taylor has been mentioned so far. Man, a lot of unexpected players kind of show up this training camp. This might be a tough cut. Chris Connolly, didn't see that coming. Trent Taylor. Who else? I expected something from Nugent. I expected something from. They expected a thing from Kingston, but I've heard something good about him. Nothing. I guess what I've heard good about him is nothing about him necessarily. So.
Got him and Diameter Lenore during one-on-one drills. Taylor isn't a particularly good player in games per se, but he's a training camp Hall of Famer. Look for the Niners to put him on their practice squad.
Sure.
Cornerback Renardo Green. He beat Deebo Samuel during one-on-one drills.
Oh, I got a comment here, guys. Sorry. Awesome. Yo, I watched one of your shorts. You got all the 49ers. Congrats. Hey, one question. How do you do that filter? Which one? The games? Is it the game filter? If you're talking about the game filter, I do that on TikTok. And then I make the video over here. So TikTok has a better format. So I like making videos over there, but putting it over here because I like YouTube a lot better. So yeah, I just go to TikTok. That's what I use. Also for the green screen, I use a lot too. If you talk about that, same thing, TikTok. YouTube doesn't have a very good filter system, an editing system. So for shorts. Yeah. I got you. Hey, man, like I always say, teamwork makes the dream work, brother. Bang, bang, down again. Let's go.
Samuel ran a deep out route and created zero separation from Green. To be fair, Samuel never creates separation when he runs out routes. Still, Green rarely gives up separation to anyone. And when he gets beat, he's usually close enough to contest the catch. Tight end Braden Willis. He made a diving catch on the final play of practice. It was 4th and 5. Brandon Allen scrambled out of the pocket to his right and fired 15 yards downfield to Willis, who had to lay out to catch the ball. He's a natural receiver who absolutely will make the 53-man roster.
Absolutely agree. He will make the 53-man roster for real. He's made way too many plays, and every single time I hear about him, he makes some sort of incredible play. So he's definitely going to make the roster just based on his ability to catch the ball. Don't know about his blocking, however, but that doesn't really matter if you had a 2 tight end set with Kittle who can catch and Braden Willis, oh my God, Jesus Christ. And if Sauber is a blocking tight end, when we heard about his catching ability so far, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Logan Thomas has been a disappointment, so that kind of sucks. Cameron Latu is trash. No offense, man. I shouldn't say that harsh, but he's like Wish Vance McDonald, and that's not a good thing. There's another tight end that was performing. I can't really think of it right now. Klein, the undrafted free agent, has been doing pretty good too. So, who is better? Who is better? What do you mean? Who's better? Who is better? All right, we'll go ahead and start this. I'll wait for your response. All right, we're done. We talked about everything. Green's doing good as well. So, Trent Taylor.
The not so good.
Quarterback
Brock Purdy. He threw 2 beautiful deep passes, one to Deebo Samuel down the sideline and one to Chris Conley up the seam. These were
incredible passes to Chris Conley, who's a depth chart wide receiver, practice squad, depth chart wide, whatever. Deebo Samuel is not known for his deep route ability. Brock Purdy laid on the money with a very poor O-line. Call me a delusional 49ers fan, but I think that's just fact.
2 of Purdy's best deep passes of camp. But he also threw 2 interceptions and now has thrown 9 picks in 9 practices. The first pick was a slightly errant pass into a tight window for Ricky Pearsall, who was bracketed by Diamador Lenore and Jair Brown. Purdy's pass tipped off Pearsall's fingertips and landed in Brown's arms. To be fair, Brandon Ayuk probably would have made that catch.
Let me get this straight. He's getting flack for a pass that was in tight coverage, okay, and what right. But if it hits the wide receiver in his fingers, in his hands, shouldn't that be the wide receiver's fault there? Like for the tip pass there, like interceptions have context, and I think in the context here, Ricky Pearsall, who's a rookie by the way, bounces off his fingers, and Brock Purdy gets the flack for that. Also, you're mentioning the fact that if Ayuk was there, Ayuk would have caught that. So you're saying it is a catchable ball. So I don't know how that's bad. If you told me like if he was watching Debo like the entire time, and obviously there was no tight window there, it was closed, then yeah. But I don't see how a tip pass like that.
Because he has much longer arms
You
than
even see
Pearsall.
yourself as catchable.
So this interception wasn't terrible, but the second one was. On the second pick, Purdy made a bad decision and predetermined to throw to Debo Samuel, who wasn't open. Jair Brown ran his route for him. So Purdy ended up throwing the ball directly to Brown, who was right in front of him. Purdy says he benefits from throwing interceptions in training camp because he learns what he can and can't do.
That's a bad play, right?
Hopefully today he learned not to force passes to Pearsall in traffic and not to throw to Samuel unless he's open. Wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. He did not participate in one-on-ones, but did participate in 11-on-11s and was underwhelming. He made a 10-yard catch when he ran a quick slant and beat Isaac Yiadom, who was playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Pearsall still hasn't shown that his route running translates in the NFL. He does not create as much separation as I expected he would, unless he's facing Isaac Yiadom. Cornerback Travarius Ward.
He's the only guy out of all the creators I've seen that's saying that Yiadom is not playing very well. He's the only guy.
He went through the motions. He didn't give his best effort. He let Frank Darby run right by him for a deep touchdown catch during one-on-ones.
Okay,
Then he committed a pass interference penalty against Debo Samuel on 2nd and 20 during a move the ball drill. Automatic first down. Ward is the best player on the field when he wants to be. Today, he didn't want it.
So you're okay. On the bright side, he is admitting that if Ward didn't want it, which is okay, I guess that is bad. But on the bright side, he is, when he wants to, he can play at that level. So it's not like him not playing like that right now is going to affect him later. So that's all good. As long as we get the Ward from last year, man, I'm not, as long as if he wants to, which I'm sure during games he wants to play good. So at least he's saying that.
Cornerback Diamador Lenore. He never gets beaten handily, but he still struggles to break up contested catches because he's a smaller cornerback. Today, he gave up a 40-yard catch up the sideline to Samuel and a 15-yard catch over the middle to Chris Conley. On both plays, Lenore had great coverage. He simply couldn't make a play on the ball.
Really good together.
That's his limitation.
So,
linebacker Ezekiel Turner. He knocked Jordan Mason to the ground at the end of a play. A big no-no during training camp. Mason immediately popped back up, ran over to Turner, and shoved him to the ground from behind. An eye for an eye.
I like Turner too. I like that pickup. I like what he can do. I guess I fed into the PFF grade because he had a high PF coverage grade, but I haven't heard much about him. But however, my God, man, that's an L on my part because I thought he was going to be great. Well, on the bright side, at least we got our rookies, Jalen Graham and Winters, playing well. So,
tight end Cam Latsu. He did not participate in practice. He seems injured again, which is bad news for his career, which is hanging by a thread. It seems like he simply doesn't have what it takes to play in the NFL. Whenever he catches the ball, defensive players all yell to punch it out because they seem to know he can't hang on to it. He's not going to make this team.
Spitting facts. I'm not entirely the biggest fan of Grant Cohn. He said some things I thought were out of line, but sometimes he said something that was truthful. Not everybody's wrong all the time. All right. So we got Here we go. Sorry, guys. I just went into a void. I got to think of the next person. David Lombardi. Let's do it back to back. Let's do Darkness versus Light. Anakin versus Obi-Wan. White blood cells versus diseases. Sorry, got a question here. Not a question, but a comment. His presentation could use some work. You mean like, are you talking about me? Because I'm self-conscious about that. I think that's, I'm working on it. But if you're talking about his like presentation about like how he talks about players and stuff, yeah, for sure. If you're talking about either one of those. What's up, Milwaukee? Welcome. No cone. All right, gotcha. Cool. What up, Milwaukee? Welcome. Let's move on to Lombardi here. LSU's from Will Stream. Nice. Hello. On. Okay, so we got David Lombardi here. This one's long. This guy went the Larry Kruger out here. No, it's only 8 minutes long, so it's not that long. Jags next. You got all 49ers. Yeah, in my game series that I have for people that are watching this, I don't know, I have a game series where I have to get all 49ers in 60 seconds. It's fun. I like it. It gets me kind of pumped. So today I got all 49ers. Milwaukee wants to Jags next. I already told somebody I do Texans. I forgot to tell you that. There was somebody that said they want to do Texans, but I promise I will. Jags is next on the list. I'll probably do all of them if people end up requesting it, but we'll see how it goes. People like it, so I have no reason to stop doing it. So, and I like doing it. So, all right, let's get back to the instant reaction of David Lombardi. It's kind of important. So here Grant Cohn says, let's see what the light side has to say. But I see you, Milwaukee. I see you, Jags next. I promise. Word.
Well, that was one hell of a 49ers practice. We saw Brock Purdy connect on 2 deep touchdowns again. We saw him throw a couple interceptions. We saw Jordan.
The reason why I'm laughing is because you see how Grant Cohn was like, Brock Purdy bad, 2 deep passes, but threw 2 interceptions. David Lombardi, Brock Purdy, good, threw 2 deep passes, but hey, threw 2 interceptions, which is fine. Literally just yin and yang. It's gay. It's absolutely
Mason start a fight, get into those details, and we saw the 49ers just in general be on the field.
What happened to the running back Mitchell? Right now, he's just usually injury prone, and he's not really showing out in camp. Mason's just been showing out. I think cutting the running back is going to be hard because you can't cut the 4th round pick, Garindo, no matter his injury. You can't do it. Schrader's playing really well. Mason's playing well. Cutting Elijah Mitchell will be weird, and you got Christian McCaffrey. So you have 5 running backs. The first dang, he said he threw 2 deep passes. That was intercepted. Actually, Brad Graham said he had been solid, no injuries. Yes, no injuries to camp. That's amazing. Yeah, I've been loving that. That's actually a bonus. I remember a few years ago, we were cursed. Yeah, Brad Graham, I like him. He's a good dude. I actually like his content a lot. I watch him all the time. He's really quick with the news. So, yeah, he's a good guy. Very good for the 49ers community. I like him.
Field for the longest stretch so far of training camp, and I think that might end up being the longest practice period of this July and August. Just when you thought it was going to end, they put 23 minutes up on the scoreboard, and that time ran as the 49ers executed a move the ball period to end practice. So, and it was a 2-minute drill move the ball period. So the pressure was on, and Brock Purdy finished his day with a beautiful back shoulder touchdown throw to Jawan Jennings. And then Kyle Shanahan, to make that first team work even more, said, okay, yeah, that was a touchdown, but I'm gonna line you guys up at like the 2 or the 3, and we're gonna run a few goal line plays. On the first goal line play, Jordan Mason delivered a touchdown. Now let's talk about Mason.
Oh, now,
this
dude.
guy,
Yeah, let's do it.
he's going to
Let's do
be at least running back 2B. Today in one-on-ones, he beat Ezekiel Turner, who's a new linebacker that the 49ers signed. Was with the Arizona Cardinals before, was a special teams ace for the Cardinals. But I watched the one-on-ones between the running backs and the tight ends and the running backs against the linebackers and the safeties. And Jordan Mason, you know, we had wondered about his hands and his route running ability prior to this year, beats Turner clean off the release. And on the streak pattern, I think Brandon Allen or Tanner Mordecai threw the football. On the streak pattern, he makes a beautiful catch. I mean, just outstretched arms, lunges for the football, and the hands have not been a question.
Party's doing a very good job of selling Mason. Right? I've already heard that. What the thing is, nobody spoke bad about Mason so far, so it's kind of like he's kind of backing it up too, but he's also amping it up pretty good because there's no way you cut Mason after hearing that, right? Like make an edit out of this. You know what I mean? Mason's been making excellent catches. I don't know. I'm tripping.
For Jordan Mason over the course of this camp. But the saga of that
Mason can be inconsistent.
might not have ended there. I don't know if Jordan Mason said something to Ezekiel Turner after he made the touchdown catch in one-on-ones, because then during team drills, Mason caught a little out. He was matched up against Turner, and on the out pattern, Turner shoved him out of bounds. I didn't think that the hit was late. It might have been borderline, but Mason, after he picked himself up, while Turner was walking back.
All right, let's pause this guy's glazing of Mason for a second. Put this comment up. I didn't know about this. This is a pretty cool tidbit. He bought Jugs machine. That's got to be kind of expensive for a third-round draft pick. Well, if he's actually playing the way he's playing, why not? I mean, that would make sense, right? If you actually put in the work, actually use the jug machine. Why not? All right.
Back to the huddle, Mason just went into a full sprint and shoved him. And it obviously started a big shoving match. Nobody threw a punch, which is good because anybody throwing a punch with a helmet on is asking to break their hand. But
I think it was yesterday, or I think it was when was it? Was it yesterday or the day before? There was a punch on Kingston or something. There was a punch at some point. Larry Krueger was like, "It's good to get punches out there." And I'm like, "What, dude? Like, yeah, let's get that energy, just knocking people out."
It definitely was a chippy moment of practice, and I'm wondering if some bad blood carried over from when Mason beat Turner in one-on-ones. Later, Mason, who ran really well today, he caught a bunch of passes out of the backfield today, didn't drop a single catch. He was very featured. Later on, he even had some words for Malik Collins heading back to the huddle. And Malik Collins is a big guy, number 99, defensive tackle that the 49ers added with the trade with the Houston Texans this offseason. Anyway, Brock Purdy's deep passes. First, Deebo Samuel deep, probably a 50-yard gain. Not sure if it would have been a touchdown. They don't blow the plays down.
Hey, he says not sure it's a touchdown, so he's kind of negative.
But they don't play all the way through to the end zone. So maybe Deebo would have scored, maybe it wouldn't. It was still a beautiful deep pass against Diamador Lenore with George Odom coming over for safety help. Brock Purdy's deep ball was on today because then later he found Chris Conley behind the defense. Conley, I said it yesterday, this guy's going to make the 53-man roster. Between the gunner work in the Super Bowl and the stuff that he's doing as a true X wide receiver, if Brandon Ayuk for some reason is not on this team or not ready in week 1 for the 49ers, then Chris Conley might be the fill-in for the X receiver spot, just a pure X. He could block. Obviously, Ayuk does that really well. He has the rapport with Brock Purdy, which is extremely important in this situation. He brings special teams value as a gunner. And, today we saw a contested catch in another clutch situation where Purdy was throwing the ball on a crosser over the middle. And we've seen many of those already for Conley this camp. But the deep ball today, he just blew past the defense and Brock Purdy dropped it in a bucket for the touchdown. Another deep pass today was completed by Josh Dobbs to Danny Gray, the speedster, who's having a decent camp. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight to make that roster for at the receiver position. So guys like Danny Gray need to make as many plays, block as well as they can to have a shot to make that roster. But Josh Dobbs did hit Gray for the touchdown. Purdy's 2 interceptions. The first one was in.
Let's see how see how much he drills into Brock Purdy about the interception.
Ended for Ricky Pearsall. Purdy held onto the ball looking for somebody to get open. People weren't getting open. And Pearsall might have had a slight sliver as he was cutting across the field from left to right, about 15 yards downfield. So Purdy decided to uncork one, had a small window, and it was just a little bit too high. It glanced off of Ricky Pearsall's fingers and into the hands of Jair Brown, the 49ers' second-year safety. A little bit later, Purdy,
he was nice. Didn't say anything crucial. Nothing bad.
One was not off of anybody's fingertips. I think he was trying to go for Deebo Samuel on the intermediate route, and it was undercut by Jair Brown. So Jair, 2 interceptions. The 49ers actually have 17 picks already in training camp. Not all off of Brock Purdy, of course. There have been multiple quarterbacks delivering for San Francisco, but today Purdy threw 2. I have to reiterate, it's not a big deal. I thought, especially with the first pick to Pearsall, was Purdy trying to test the limits, which is what you do in practice. You want to find the limits, and then you want to, once you define them, you want to be in position to avoid crossing them during the regular season. I will say that Purdy's interception rate was probably his weakness. It wasn't egregious last season, but he did rank in the bottom half of the league. He was still the most efficient quarterback in all of football by a mile. I mean, it was a historically efficient season, even with an interception rate that was probably a little bit higher than you want it to be. So, of course, Brock Purdy wants to lower it a little bit, and he's working on finding those limits at practice as we speak. That
was like 1 minute of unnecessary positivity, which is awesome, I guess. I mean, if you were looking for whatever cup of tea you like, he just gave it to you right there.
Andre Campbell, linebacker, one of Jordan Mason's runs later. I mean, I thought Jordan Mason was running like a man possessed today. It's looking really good. Beat Devondre Campbell to the outside. We're going to keep a close eye on Devondre to see if he's going to A, win that linebacker 2 spot, and B, hold on to it. Because we've seen D Winters matching up with Christian McCaffrey. By the way, Christian got D back today in one-on-ones after D Winters had that win a couple days ago. But obviously D Winters, Jalen Graham, those guys are competing to try to move up the pecking order to that 2 spot while Dre Greenlaw's out. Devondre Campbell, there have been plays where I thought his speed has been impressive. He blanketed Christian McCaffrey on that play I talked about last week, and plays where I think it could have been a little bit better.
Whenever he says there's been some plays with some positivity, that means Devondre Campbell did something really bad. Next one, and that's pretty much what he did right here.
Today, he let Mason get the edge against him. A little bit later in practice, Ronaldo Green had a nice physical pass break up against Ronald Darby, who is actually Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall's former teammate at ASU, is a depth addition at receiver for the 49ers. So that was practice today, the longest session of the year. And I will say there's one more really nice diving catch to end. It was Braden Willis from Brandon Allen. And I think the 49ers will take 4 tight ends as they usually do. I think Willis is one of those 4. Obviously, George Kittle Eric Saubert, who's been working with the first team, seems to be entrenched in tight end 2 spot because of his ability to block. And he's also made some nice catches, including the first in team drills of this training camp. But Braden Willis on a deeper out pattern made a really nice diving catch. And that was during that very competitive move the ball period. So I think Willis is number 3. And then you look at Logan Thomas. You look at Cam Latu, who was out of practice today, by the way. I saw him on the sideline. I don't know why he didn't practice. We'll find out a little bit later, but we'll see how the 49ers tight end room shakes out. All right. What a competitive practice, back and forth offense.
All right. We're good. So, pretty much, sorry, I see some comments here. My bad. Just want to finish that video there. Okay, so we got, let's go back to some comments. Jennings or Pearsall? Jennings, 3rd and 1 for sure. I'm not think about that. Yes, I do edits. Hey, free advertisement right there. This guy does edits, guys. Check him out. Hey, favorite routine right now? I try, man. Thank you. Me myself. Appreciate that. All right. Appreciate it. Okay, so wait a second. Josh Dobbs on the 49ers. Yeah, my man, he's on the 49ers for sure. Okay. So what we learned there, Chris Conley's doing great. I think Brock Purdy, based on what I've heard throughout camp, is doing good. Aside from the interceptions, but I think the interceptions are not a big deal because it's not consistent. You know, he had 2 great days, then he had these interceptions. Then before those 2 great days, he had 2 bad days. So there's no real pattern here. So there's that. What else? The defense. We do not talk enough about the defense. The defense is fantastic. I mean, maybe the defense that was number 2 last year behind the Chiefs might just be out there making great plays, and that's what seems to be happening. And we got to give some credit to the defense because there are no holes in this defense aside from the run game that hopefully we filled. So, but as player-wise, there is no holes on this defense, in my opinion. So let's get this guy out here. Boom. We're going to check out Larry Krueger next. Let's do it. Thank you, everybody who joined the live. I appreciate it. If you can like it, it supports the channel. Small channel. I do what I can. Love talking 49ers, NFL. I do a lot of shorts, and I try to go live talking 49ers. Maybe go live during games, too, and stuff like that. So I appreciate y'all. Strawberry said it, man. Strawberry React said it, dude, for sure. Yeah, it's better, dude. It's a lot better, 110%. We've only ever had like 2 corners that could start, maybe 3, and the bottom line was always Ambry Thomas at whenever someone got hurt. So that's not a good thing to have. It's not a good situation to have. So having Yadam has been a big deal. He's been shown out. Grant Cohn's the only person I know who's been down on Yadam. So take that as what you will. But from what I heard, he's a pretty good corner, especially if he's doing good as everyone says he is. If he could just be a second or third corner, it's all we ask of him. It's fine with me. He doesn't need to be a top 32 corner. Just be top 64. Depth, especially on defense, looking great. Yeah, I agree with that. Safety a lot better than I thought. Mustafa's shown out. Brown, obviously, with 2 interceptions. I mean, safety's doing really well. Funga's coming back. Hopefully he's the same. Taylor Hawkins is not that bad. I mean, he hasn't really had time to shine, and every now and again he pops out in practice. So I think safety's good. Green also, the corner rookie we got, he has safety experience. So worst comes to worst, he could pop in there. So, yeah, there's really no holes. Corner, linebacker, even with Dre Greenlaw out, no holes there. We're good. Strawberry knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. All right, let's go ahead and look up who's the next guy? Larry Krueger. I always get his name mixed up with the U and the E quite a bit. All right, here we go. Here we go. What we got? All right. Why are you showing old vids, man? Once you show new vids, you need to search somebody. Dang, dude, 16-minute video, bro. For real? Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. He's getting that viewership in. I respect it. Respect the game. Bro, grinds.
Levi Stadium for 49er training camp. Today was training camp practice number 9.
Well, I've heard
day number
every
9
now
of
and again
training
hear
camp. Of
stuff
course,
about
we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California.
Yeah, I trust
Check them
guys.
out. They're in
Trust
Emeryville. They're
people.
in Corte Madera. They're open
Yes.
7 days a week in both spots from 11
Two
a.m. to
words
8
there, my
p.m.
friend.
or until they run out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right. We're down here at training camp, and Niners just wrapped up a very long practice. And we expected this one to be long. Why? Because if you look at the way the Niners have
I don't know, man. I'm going on a limb here and say it was a long practice. I got a feeling.
been doing it, they go light practice and then usually a heavy practice. And if you looked at the kind of the way the practices had gone, Friday was a light practice. Thursday was an off day. Wednesday was also kind of a light practice. So we expected today, the 9th day of 49er training camp, to be a heavy practice. And sure enough, it was. It was 13 periods. They worked on a bunch of different things. All right, first, let's start off with I got a kind of an up-close look at the one-on-one O-line, D-line drills, and there were some really good battles. As far as who were the winners, I mean, Robert Beal Jr. had a rep where he beat Saubert, the tight end, pretty bad for a sack. Evan Anderson had an impressive bull rush of the guard. I forget which guard it was.
UDFA, let's go.
Gross Matos looks phenomenal in some of these one-on-one drills.
I knew he'd be good.
He had a phenomenal 2 or 3 reps in the one-on-ones. Colton McKivitz had a one-on-one rep against Leonard Floyd where he stonewalled Floyd.
Hallelujah. A McKivitz highlight. A McKivitz sighting of improvement. He stonewalled Leonard Floyd, who's been balling out. It's maybe only 1 rep, but however, it's something. It means he can do it.
That was a good rep for McKivitz. Jordan Elliott had a bull rush of Dominic Pooney, where he got to the quarterback and he just got underneath Pooney's pads and just basically drove him towards the quarterback. And then Leonard Floyd did leave the drill, the one-on-one drill, which looked to be maybe a calf pull. He went down to the ground, but he did return to the drill. So obviously it was just a minor deal.
Good.
As far as who stood out in practice today, Jalen Mahoney, the rookie from Vanderbilt, had an interception.
Hey! There's Strawberry Reacts guy right there. It's probably where he heard the news about Mahoney doing good. He's probably seen Krug's show, or he just knows. I won't take credit for you, brother. I won't take credit.
Today, I thought that was good to see. We did see a little bit of a brawl. Elijah Turner on a pass play to Jordan Mason, JP Mason, pushed Mason down from behind on the sideline, and Mason got up and just slugged him, just took a shot at him. And yet we talked to Mason after practice, and he said, "Hey, man, it's camp, it's field stuff. It's, it was like, he's like, I could go up to Elijah Turner in the locker room. We're cool. Everything's fine." But it was just a little on-field fisticuffs between Turner and Mason, which you're going to see in training camp in these long padded practices in the heat of the July or August sun. People get, short with each other, and all of a sudden you get annoyed and set off. And anyway, Turner pushed Mason down. Mason jumped up and rocked Turner, and they threw some blows for a minute. And that was pretty much the extent of it. As far as Brock Purdy, I think, we're seeing the good and the bad here. He had a great deep ball to Chris Conley. He had a phenomenal deep ball to Deebo Samuel.
I've heard it described as intermediate. I've heard the ball to Chris Conley was intermediate. Call it deep. So it was probably a pretty good one. So, and that's Brock Purdy's bread and butter, that intermediate in the middle of the field. That deep ball to Debo Samuel is a good sign.
for a touchdown
Good sign.
against Demo Lenore. Purdy had a beautiful ball to Ricky Pearsall. He had a nice ball to Kittle. I thought Purdy's best pass of the day was a ball where he had some rush on him and he had to move in the pocket, and then he just flipped it out to Debo, but he flipped it out to him in the flat while he was covered over a defender on the move and just dropped a perfect dime right on him. It was the kind of
Jesus Christ, dude. Like, if Larry doesn't make an edit out of that, like, look how he fucking
out to Debo, but he flipped it out to him in the flat while he was covered over a defender on the move and just dropped a perfect dime right on him. It was the kind of play that you just go, wow,
5.
man, that's really what makes Brock Purdy. So, you think Purdy hitting Debo in the flat would not be the play of the day, but I thought in a lot of ways it was from Brock. It was just a perfect pass. There was a lot of things that were in the way, and he just dropped
it. A lot happened in the flat,
just kind of layered it right over the defender, put it right on Debo's hands, right away from the defender where the defender couldn't do anything. He had to move in the pocket to create the space. I mean, it was about 5 different positive points there from Brock Purdy.
Oh, I said that. Did I not? Did I not say 5 positive things? He said the exact. Oh, dude, I got him. Oh, shit.
On the dime in the flat to Debo Samuel. JP Mason had several nice runs, and JP Mason is, having easily his best camp. And then we talked to JP Mason at the end of the practice, and I asked him, I said, was it frustrating for you the last couple of years to, be running the ball well? And
hold on, I just looked over it. This is long, so I should probably get through this video, but I just saw this on the top. So, Strawberry, I see you, brother. Hold on. Have seen Kruger, but I watched Jaguars live also. He brought Mahoney. Jesse and Coach brought Mahoney yesterday. Okay, really? Okay. I don't watch Jesse and Coach, so that's probably why. Every now and again, I leave my TV on and he'll play them. I'll catch some stuff. Actually, deep balls. He does do that. He was first this year. Papa J, welcome back, brother. Welcome back. If you put Josh Dobbs and Brandon Allen together, you get Josh Allen. Sorry, I think you just meant the names. For some reason, I thought at first you were like actually talent-wise. Like, nah, brother. All right, I'm tripping. Let's get through Larry Kruger.
Look good, but not getting any run, not getting any PT, not getting any playing time. And I said, "Is it frustrating to you?" And he was very candid, and he said that that initially he really did not hit it off with Bobby T. That Bobby T was asking him to do things and he wasn't doing it. That him and Bobby T didn't see eye to eye. That he wasn't Bobby T's kind of guy, so he didn't play. And he basically, said, "Hey, we're cool now, and now I do what he says, and I understand it's his way or the highway, kind of a thing." And I think that's what we're seeing here is that JP Mason, and he basically just told us why he didn't play the last couple of years. He didn't play because he didn't do all the things that Bobby T wanted him to do. And Bobby T is the gatekeeper to carries. And if you don't do what Bobby T wanted, he didn't see I would expect JP Mason to be a significant player this year for the 49ers. I'll say this. If you put JP Mason on the Cowboys today, he's their number 1 running back. He is their.
Dang, that's actually saying a lot. I think he's playing really well. So JP Mason's definitely making the roster. Without a doubt.
Starting running back.
That's probably what the Cowboys' strategy is. Let's see there's so many running backs out there. Let's see who doesn't make it. Bring him back. Because Ezekiel Elliott's not looking very good right now.
And he's like the talk of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But here on this team, I mean, he's just another back on one of the best backfields in the entire league. So he was great today, and he's been great this entire camp. And then he told us afterwards, why he's having a bust-out camp. He's having a bust-out camp because him and Bobby T are now on. He's got huge talent. Schrader looks good. I mean, there's all kinds of depth here, but expect to see a lot of JP Mason this year. Leonard Floyd had a sack of Purdy in the practice today. Tatum Bethune.
Leonard
had a really nice play or two against the run. He's starting to kind of show himself as camp has gone on. He's made more and more plays. Jair Brown had an interception of Brock Purdy. It was a really nice play by Jair. Dobbs had a deep ball touchdown to Danny Gray, who, Danny Gray.
It's really good to come back to what he's saying there. It's really good to hear Leonard Floyd's flying and making moves, because every DN we get for Nick Bosa has not really popped off in camp. And we're like, well, just hope he translates to the NFL games. Leonard Floyd's just showing up, and that's good. That's a great sign.
Is looking like a totally different player in this camp. He's just so intent on salvaging an NFL career. I mean, at this point, he's a bust. He's a third-round pick out of SMU who didn't make it in the league, and he knows.
He's saying that. Did he just say Deebo Samuel's a bust? Not Deebo, but Gray. Hold on.
Touchdown to Danny Gray, who, Danny Gray is looking like a totally different player in this camp. He's just so intent on salvaging an NFL career. I mean, at this point, he's a bust. He's a third-round.
I don't know if he could salvage his career. It's not over yet. He's still in his rookie contract. I wouldn't say he's a bust yet, especially if he's performing in his training camp. I think that if he was off his rookie contract and then he was performing like this, saying something like that would make sense. But I think that's a little premature. But I see what he's saying, though. Totally agree with him.
Pick out of SMU who didn't make it in the league, and he knows it. And so he appears to be kind of turning it up a little bit. And Dobbs hit him on a deep ball today for a touchdown. That was fantastic. Now, we've also seen throughout practice, Danny using that machine to kind of that machine that kind of
pause. Gross Matos, man, honestly, this might very well be the best if these players' motors could stay good, like Leonard Floyd, who's old, Matos, all these defensive players we got, if their motor's good and they can stay on the field. This might be the best defensive line Kyle Shanahan's ever had. It might very well be, in my opinion.
Vibrates to and he's been pushing it on his quads and his hamstrings. So I think he's battling some soft tissue issues right now, but he's trying to battle through it because he knows it's do or die time for him. This is a make it or break it camp for Danny Gray, and he knows it. So is he battling a hamstring? Is he battling a quad? It looks like he is, but he's out there trying to make plays, and he had a great touchdown catch today from Dobbs. Malik Turner, who's wearing number 0, the wide receiver, went down in this practice. He had a hamstring injury. Cam Latu, who badly needs to get out on the field and show what he can do,
but he's not
practicing today, probably due to an injury. Cody Schrader had another day where he had, more than a couple nice plays. He had a really nice catch and run.
Cody Schrader.
Dobbs hit him in the flat one time, and he made a guy miss and rumbled down the sideline.
Dallas Cowboys fans, if you see this, back off, dude. Back off. We're not cutting Schrader. I like him way too much. I know Larry brags about him a lot, but I've seen his highlights. I've heard nothing but great things about him. I haven't heard anything. At first, I heard a couple bad things, but then he, during this training camp, he's been a stud. And back up JP Mason for sure. So
I think Cody Schrader is starting to look good. And then a couple more thoughts before we wrap it here. One, today is the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Canton, Ohio, and congratulations to Patrick Willis for being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's very deserving. He was one of the greatest linebackers of his era. I'm glad that the injuries that he had that shortened his career did not keep him out of Canton. But when I think today of the Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I love the speeches, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame is one of my favorite days of the year covering the NFL because you get to hear the stories of these gladiators basically, and how they went from a little boy with a dream to an NFL Hall of Famer who made a dramatic impact on the sport and the team that he played on. And it just always comes back to Roger
I'm just-
Craig belongs in the Hall of Fame. And I don't know what it's going to touchdowns, 50 rushing and I think 15 or 16 receiving. First player in the history of pro football to go for 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. He was Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk.
Yeah,
He was Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you could make an argument that the greatest
Sorry,
Niner
that
team
guy.
of all time was the 84 Niners. Roger Craig scored, he was Montana got the MVP, but Craig scored 3 touchdowns in that Super Bowl. He was the best player on the field. When the Niners played, the greatest Niner team of all time, you could argue, was 84. And they beat the Dolphins, and they beat them pretty good. And you could argue that Roger Craig was the best player on the field. He was not in the Hall of Fame. The guy belongs, and I've said it 20 times, so forgive me if you've heard it before. But Roger Craig's numbers were suppressed by the fact that he played with Jerry Rice. And Jerry Rice was the greatest statistical entity the NFL.
I'm speaking for both of us, Strawberry, when I say this. Okay, I know that for a fact. He loves talking ball. He likes talking football. And that's the most important thing. And he gives his honest take. And that's what matters. Yeah, there's some, things like, there's things you can poke at and make fun of me for and stuff too. And that's his quirk. And I have my quirks. We all have our quirks. So I really tried not. I don't want to come off. I want to watch these guys to get, kind of really analysis of what's going on around the 49ers training camp. I don't want to necessarily just come out here and bash these people. So I hope that, no offense by anything that I say here. Just want to put that on record.
NFL's ever seen. Jerry Rice put receiving records in areas that players today don't even approach. And it's much more of a passing era with all the rule changes have favored offense. And yet still guys don't approach Jerry's records. Jerry was the greatest statistical offensive player in the history of pro football. And because Roger Craig played with him, his numbers are suppressed and his coaches knew it. And so they kept feeding him the ball. Roger was a total team guy who was nefarious went on here. The 49er coaches fed the greatest receiver of all time, and they fed him the ball religiously. But only one football. How many times have we covered football games and we go into the locker room and there's a 200-yard receiver? There's hardly ever a 200-yard runner in the same game where there's a 200-yard receiver. Why? Because there's only one football. If you have somebody rush for 200 yards in a game, guess what? You're not going to have a 200-yard receiver. If you have somebody catch, 200 yards belongs in the Hall of Fame. Come on, guys, this is ridiculous. Andre Reed is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
But Roger Craig is not. Roger Craig won Super Bowls. Andre Reed lost Super Bowls. It's sad. At this point, it's sad, it's unfortunate, and it has to come to an end. Fans. And in a very candid moment, he said, you know what? Absolutely. It used to bother me, and I've let it bother me. And I'm a human being, and it never is good to, hear people ragging you and saying negative stuff about you. But he's learned.
In a certain context, if someone wants to look at what I just, say something negative, that was an interesting time to say.
Learn to compartmentalize the whole thing.
Interesting jump there.
To understand that it doesn't really matter what, people that are maybe not as informed as his teammates or as his coaches, the opinion that they have of him. You can tell it bothers him because he's a sensitive guy. And he admitted that it bothered him, but he's found a way to kind of get beyond that. And he's having a phenomenal camp, and he's a fixture at right tackle. And I think he's a pretty good offensive lineman, to be honest. I think he's been ragged unfairly and unjustly by Niner fans and some people in the media.
Was he talking about McKivitz?
Formed as his teammates or as his coaches, the opinion that they have of him. You can tell it bothers him because he's a sensitive guy. And he admitted that it bothered him, but he's found a way to kind of get beyond that. And he's having a phenomenal camp, and he's a fixture at right tackle. And I think he's a pretty good offensive lineman, to be honest. I think he's been ragged unfairly and unjustly by now.
He has to be talking about McKivitz. I could have sworn he ragged on McKivitz. I think I could be tripping because a lot of people rag on McKivitz. But however, I think we're all guilty of that party there for sure.
Niner fans and some people in the media. All right, that's going to do it for
Hey, if McKivitz shows out and becomes a freaking top 10 right tackle, man, I will make a 10-minute video glazing the F out of McKivitz and not pausing, but like 5 minutes of it, just apologizing to him. If he just becomes a top 10 right tackle, I don't give a fuck. Okay. If he performs, I will be super happy. But he hasn't been performing. So it's what have you done for me lately kind of league. So.
Our recap. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor.
Pig and a Pickle. Pig and a Pickle. Big shout out. Free advertisement right there. All right. That is what has happened through day 9 of 49ers training camp. We saw Grant Cohn. We saw David Lombardi. We saw Larry Krueger. We had some conversation. Some final thoughts here before I get some comments. Sorry, excuse me. I'm glad that Mason's showing out. I'm glad that that's going to be kind of a tougher cut. I thought running back was clear cut at first. I was like, obviously, it's got to be you keep Mitchell, you keep McCaffrey, you keep Garendo, and you keep Schrader, who I thought performed also in minicamp. But Mason, man, it's going to be 4 running backs, possibly 5. Who's the other one that's been performing? There's another one I'm forgetting, but I'm glad running backs are showing out. The offensive line has been bad, but it's not as bad as I thought. But then again, a lot of people are not talking enough about the O-line because people barely talk about Kingston playing right tackle, and I think that's a big deal, So, but I don't hear enough about that. The defense, just like Strawberry said it earlier, I believe Strawberry said it earlier, it's perfect. The depth is perfect. Everything is – I don't know. I don't feel like we need to trade for anybody or sign anyone at defense. Justin Simmons is nice, but I don't think he would have really any room on this team. He would have to be okay with taking turns. I don't think that would happen. So outside of that, I think safety's good. So if you want to bring in every single offensive lineman that's available, keep doing it. Keep doing that. I don't care. I'm going to complain about the offensive line for a long time, people. So buckle your seat. This is happening. So, and it's all. One other thing, Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's having bad days, but from what I hear, he's playing outstanding. Still the deep ball, really great. Intermediate, he's connecting with receivers that would not be number ones on our team, such as Connolly. No offense. Debo Samuel, who's unknown for deep balls. Juwan Jennings performing, even though he got hurt. I think Bell caught a pass, I believe. Trent Taylor, as Grant Cohn like to say. Jesus, dude. He's throwing the ball everywhere. And that's what you like to see. Let me get out of this. All right. That's my final thoughts on that. I'm very happy with this training camp so far. I am not disappointed whatsoever with this team at training camp. Super proud. Papa J with the 100. Thank you, man. Man, I went on a rant like a boomer, dude. I went on my boomer rant where I just kept it going. All right, let's look at some comments. All right, Papa J, put it out there. People like Larry, Grant, Bruce, David has badass talent on being able to talk sports for hours and hours without stopping. True that. Hey, that's how you make it a living. That's how you make it a living. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. McKivitz gets most of the blame. Reality, the rest of the line underperformed. except Trent last year. Yeah, agreed. Also, Trent kind of just underperformed, I think, in my opinion. It's my bad to say, but I think he got a couple penalties in the Super Bowl. I don't think he played very well. I think the entire line didn't play well. McKivitz, yeah, he's not a starting right tackle, technically, not a top 32. But right guard was bad with Burford, with that infamous the D-line play. And then if we can get a better center because Brendel's injured, if Nugent can show up, that'd be great. That entire from center to right tackle is the biggest issue. Banks is just fine next to Trent. Even if it's Trent making Banks look good, it doesn't matter. The left side is fine in my opinion. We can just figure out center to right tackle. This team's great. Because if Brock Purdy's able to connect with his receivers right now with the offensive line, how terrible it is. Imagine if he just had one more second, literally just add one more second with just a little more talent at center, a little more talent at right guard, a little more talent at right tackle. McKivitz can give that, great. All right, that was my rant. That was what makes you a good podcaster. I'm trying. My grandpa inspired me. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No, do not get me wrong, Strawberry. I swear to God, do not get me wrong. Trent Williams as that. Trent Williams with that short field on left side. Whenever the offensive starts on the like left side and that short field, you still have technically with Trent Williams a wide open field as if you were the line was on the right side. He's that good for sure. Just a slight improvement. That's all I ask. Look at all the O-line that's available. Right tackle in particular. I mean, we've picked up a right tackle already. He got injured though, but it's not serious from what I heard. Yep, Feliciano, Banks, no show. Yeah, agreed, Papa. I agree. Get whatever we can in O-line in there. 110%. Hey, I hope he turns into a Senate this year, man. But I get what you're saying. You kind of realistically speaking for a UDFA, he needs a couple more, a lot more time. It's very rare that UDFA just starts right away. But if he does have that talent, and if he makes the 53-man squad, he's definitely playing center next year. Earned him for sure, no doubt in my mind. He does, dude. He takes people out, bro. There's every single year this dude has highlights of throwing DBs and linebackers everywhere. Sometimes even DNs. It's just, yeah, man. I mean, but somebody's got to take him. So, like, even if someone's gonna have to get postered. All right, someone's gonna get posterized. Someone has to. That way, your teammate can hopefully get around you getting posterized. All right. Our offensive line is the only getting to get better facing the best defense in the NFL during practice. I have faith in our offensive line this year. I mean, I think it might be better than next year. It just depends if we can get Feliciano back because he was a stud last year until he got hurt. If Brendel's knee isn't bad, that's fine. And if McKivitz is even just a little bit better, then yes, our offense. I have some faith. There is a chance. There's a chance. And if Elfine's good, then hey, that's also a bonus. Oh, Pooney. I totally forgot about Pooney. Pooney, all right, guard. He's fantastic from what I hear too. So, but he's not playing right tackle at all. So you don't expect to play right tackle. I gotta get out of here soon. Time's going by. I gotta get dinner. I still remember that DB running from the Jaguars game, making me laugh every time. Yeah, dude, I remember that. Dude. Yeah, right. That was funny. I tried. That was a poor reenactment. That's why I tried there. Pooney has gotten rave reviews. Yes, he has. Pooney has gotten great reviews, dude. I've heard that he got yelled out. That was from Grant Cohn, but from articles that I read recently, I think it was today, It's been busy quite a while, so the days are kind of meshing. But I've heard that Pooney's doing fantastic, and the O-line of Whitaker said that he's doing great too. So he might start. He might start. If Brock Purdy's able to make plays under him, he might start. He might start. All right, guys. So my next, before I get out of here right now, thank you, Strawberry, for the awesome conversation. Appreciate you, Papa J. Thank you, Milwaukee. Thank you as well. And there was somebody else. Gotta give all those shout outs. Can't miss people. LSU, thank you. God, I think there's somebody else. Nope, that's it. All right. My next series on the video game series I'm going to do, it's going to be Texans. Someone requested that already. Try to get all Texans. I just got all 49ers. That felt good. Like I felt it. I had no music or anything like that. But when I got all of it, I was like, are you serious? Like, so anyway, let's try Texans and see how it goes with that game there. Last comment. Back off our receivers. Facts. Facts, as the kids would say. Facts. Facts. All right, guys. Love you, fam. Take care, and I will see you next video. Oh, sub if you're new here. If you like the content, hit sub. Appreciate it. Helps the channel. Like the video if you like the video. Also helps the channel. Thank you. And see you next time. Oh, all love, fam. See you next video.